In studio, Andy Brodock, who is so bravely sharing his story, the story of his wife, Naomi, and what they went through, and why we are going to do everything within our power at Social Security Works to shine a light on this story and to use it to end this story happening, to build a system that is actually aimed at keeping people healthy. And we can obviously do it. We're literally the only country in the OECD that doesn't have healthcare guaranteed as a right. Everyone else can do it, but we're supposed to believe we can't. The richest nation in the world at the richest point in our history. Andy, you saw so many things through this process that you went through with Naomi. What was the one, was there one moment when it really came, when it flashed into anger at the system as it was, where it came into stark relief that this is not right?
I can think of three. So there was a time before Naomi's diagnosis, she was pregnant with our second, Julia. So this is about 2 years before her diagnosis. She started experiencing some complications and spoke to her midwife about it. And her midwife said, this is not normal. You need to get this checked out. But she was on provisional insurance for being pregnant. Had she had gone in at that time, she would have been slapped with a pre-existing condition and lifetime maximums. This was 2 years before the ACA went into effect. So she was a little freaked out about doing that and decided to wait until she couldn't wait anymore. And we were in another situation where we were sitting down in our living room. A social worker was there and explained to us that we made too much money. I was making like $27,000 a year, too much money for us to go on state aid. We would have to pay for this ourselves. Naomi had lost her insurance. She lost her job. And so she's like, well, you have a couple options. You can declare bankruptcy, or you can get a divorce.
So I don't know if you know this about me, but I don't come to this through politics, like what I do. I actually worked in outreach clinics in Chicago and in Washington, D.C. And what I worked on specifically was HIV, the HIV teams there. And this was the one that made me, I take sadness and try to turn it into rage that is aimed at building power. Like some people have a labor of love, and I say that this station here is a labor of spite because it is aimed at the corporate media's lying and propping up the pharmaceutical industry and the insurance industry, and that we're not allowed to tell this story, that this is what you actually advise. I was a health educator, which is similar position. You advise people. You say what you should consider is getting a divorce, moving the assets and getting a divorce, because in our stupid system, that's the only way that you're going to be able to access the care that you need without actually spending down every last penny that you have and bankrupting the family. That is immoral. That is how people like Stephen Helmsley make tens of millions of dollars a year. And that is why, Andy, I thank you again for sharing your story. So that was two.
That was two.
That was two.
So the other one had to do with insurance companies directing care. So we're getting down to the end. We knew it was getting close. There was one last chance. Maybe we go on this immunotherapy. It's different than chemotherapy. Maybe this will work. Maybe it won't. But the insurance company says, no, you can't do that yet. You have to go through this other chemo drugs first, even though those drugs nearly killed her the first time. She couldn't do it 5 days a week in bed, and that was when she was healthier. At this point, it would have ended her life. She needed something else, and there was something else available. So we appealed, and in the end, it was actually the pharmaceutical company that came through and paid for that drug. It didn't work. It did extend her life some and gave her a little bit of time left for us to say goodbye. But if she had gone down the platinum-based chemo, we wouldn't have had that time.
And why did the insurance companies have a say in it at all? What their job, the way they make money, let me be super clear, they take our money, they take our premiums, and they deny our care. That's the only way that they make profits. Take our premiums, deny our care. Why is that person in the room? Andy, in the last minute or so here, just again, thank you for coming on and sharing your story, and we will continue at Social Security Works to do everything that we can to push for expanded Medicare for everybody, improve Medicare and expand it to everybody. Thom's listeners, this is like the best crowd of people you'll ever be able to speak with. They're amazing. What do you, we want to take action, so what do you think we should have people do? We have Bernie Sanders' Medicare for All bill in the Senate and the companion bill in the House. We call in and get co-sponsors on that. I know that Naomi was a big fan of Bernie Sanders and that drive. So tell our listeners what you think they can do to raise their voices and take action.
I think the best thing you can do is what Barack Obama said. Don't boo, vote. We got to vote. We have to tell our representatives that this is what we want. This is what it needs to be. And if we don't get representatives who are willing to set that aside and be statesmen and not politicians, then we need new representatives who will do this.
Who will fight for health care as a right for everyone in this country, who will banish that insurance executive in a suit from the doctor's office forever, who will just end this corrupt and immoral industry which serves no purpose other than to deny people the care that they need. Andy Brodock, thank you so much for sharing your story here on the Thom Hartmann Program. I want to have you back whenever I can to just keep telling this story, keep building power, and just, we're going to do this. We're going to build the country that we believe in, where healthcare is a right for everyone. Thank you so much. We will be right back on the Thom Hartmann Program after this.